right, how is everybody?
Doing well.
Doing great.
Good.
Wednesday night, 16 days before football. Johnny fed me those numbers. He's my analytic guy, so he fed me those numbers before the show. So,
Well, for the Eagles game.
well, that's football in these parts of town.
That's right, because you got 15 days until the actual first game. But yeah,
Yep.
crazy.
How's everybody?
Doing
Anthony's already annoyed about football. He said it's baseball season.
It's like going to Target and seeing Halloween stuff already. We're not there yet. Let's relax.
I got a family in the neighborhood that's already started decorating. They got a human. I mean, I don't know
a skeleton.
A skeleton as big as the house. I mean, I don't know where they got it, but
you shouldn't be able to have that at a facility where multiple people live. That should be only for like a gigantic house or something. They're outrageously big.
It's out on Smith Bridge, right when you come over the new bridge there.
They're like 2 feet tall. You can get them on Amazon for like $500, $600.
There's one near us, and they keep him up all year round, and they just change his outfits.
I think I saw that house.
Yeah,
Do they keep them up all year?
All year, right across.
It's got like a skeleton body and like a jack-o'-lantern head.
Very cool. Very cool.
I guess.
All right. Welcome everybody. We don't have anybody on yet, but welcome anyway.
They might be watching and just not commenting.
That's true. But so we'll welcome them anyway if you're not, if you're not commenting. But anyway, good to have everybody Wednesday night. I mean, it's hard to believe we're almost through August and running into September. I mean, we're just flying.
Yep.
Flying by. Johnny, what do you got?
Jen's still at the lead. It's getting ugly at home.
Is this the most? Is that why you brought your suitcase? You staying at the store now?
Yeah, it's getting ugly. And I mean, and she's actually leaking oil too. And Tony actually has one of his guys, Nolan Gorman from the Cardinals. He's played like the past month, and he's got 0 points for him. So, if Nolan Gorman would actually wake up a little bit, Tony would probably have already passed her by now, because I think she's like 18 points ahead, I believe it is. If I did the 23 points, 23 points ahead. So
definitely not on there.
It's getting a little crazy.
Does she know she's leaking oil?
I got to be a good husband and keep saying, "Oh, you're doing great, girl. You're doing great. You got this." So no, she doesn't know she's leaking oil, but but because I didn't send out the last minute or this week's scores to everybody, so they don't know got tightened up there a little bit, and so. But the biggest point though is the host. We're taking the lead again. We're up 4,501 points to 44-64. So we jump back in the lead there, which is all important.
All right.
So it's going well. So it kind of works out good, because the weeks that we're live, the viewers have taken the lead a few times, so we haven't had to announce it too much that we weren't in the lead.
Nice.
So. But yeah, no, it's a close match there, and it's like the same thing with a lot of the top things. It's all every other week. It seems like your team does a little bit better, I guess, because of the way the pitching lines up. Sometimes you get a second start from some of your pitchers, and get some extra bonus points that way.
All right. Well, we're winding down. What do the Phillies have? About 30-some games left? 34, 35 games?
Yep. We got like 6 weeks to go still.
Yep. So we're going to overlap with our fantasy baseball and our fantasy football. Let's talk about that for a couple of minutes before we move on.
Oh yeah, the fantasy football is up to 53 teams already so far. So we're getting them in slowly but surely. And then we still got a whole bunch that have played the past bunch of years in the past 6 years. I know it's going to get up there a much higher, but they're waiting to the last minute to get all the last minute reports out, who's the pick and stuff. So that's growing well.
And where does one get all this information? I mean, you go to where you buy a magazine, or is this posted online, or what is this?
Yeah, I guess there's different spots that you can go and do it. I think there are books. I mean, I've seen them in our supermarket. There's fantasy baseball reports and football.
People actually put a lot of faith in those.
I guess, I don't know. I mean, I don't read them because it's just I just watch the games and pick some players that I like and stuff. But,
all right.
I'd rather trust myself because I'm not one to hey, Johnny told me to pick this person and and then you lose out your season. So
Joe Stinger said, "Hello, I'm a little late." Joe, you're never late to the party. You're always with us.
That's right. It's all good.
So you made it home safely, safe and sound, back from Pennsylvania to Florida. Always good seeing you, Joe. He visited me a few times while I was here in Pennsylvania.
Nice.
Yep. For sure. All right. So, where do you guys want to start? Do you want to dig right in on the Red Hot Phillies, or what? They're not red hot?
They're red.
They're about lukewarm.
Speaking about red hot, I get to listen to the Phillies on the radio every now and again, and you don't realize how funny Larry Anderson is.
Oh yeah,
doing radio with Scott
Fransky,
and apparently, see if I have this correct. His favorite candy is Red Hots.
Are they?
Well,
and apparently, I don't know. I guess one of the interns that worked for the Phillies this year brought him a nice chunk, we'll say, a supply. And I guess, they all kind of use the same room, I guess, as a green room to get ready for the games and whatnot. And, so they're always messing with Larry. They're always doing something to upset him. So, Crucker must have hit his Red Hots, and just stirred a whole, frenzy of things. So, Larry was forced to eat them so they couldn't, hide them again. And it was just so funny, So they were talking about how long Red Hots. Do I have the name of that candy right? Is that what they're called?
Yeah, they're
little red things that stick to your fillings in your teeth and everything.
Oh yeah.
Just annoy the living.
Gotta get a toothpick in there.
Annoy the living hell out of me. Anyway, he was talking about he's been eating them since 1970s. I mean, they had a full-blown conversation about this candy. That it just blew me away. Meanwhile, Scott's like, Larry, we need to get back to the ball game. Larry forgot there was a baseball game. But anyway.
Oh, it was distracting him from watching what was going on.
Yeah, because
Larry's the best when they're losing.
Weren't they red hot tamales? Yeah, I think that's what Joe may have nailed it. Red hot tamales.
Aren't they like cinnamon flavored or something?
Yeah, they're hot as crap. They're not very. I'm not a fan.
You like them?
Yeah, I wouldn't buy them. I would eat them if they were there, but
no, thank you.
Not paying for
I think it might be a takeoff from chewing tobacco for Larry back in the day or something.
Yeah, it gives you that little boost.
It gives you that that little snort or something.
Okay. I don't think you should snort them, but sure.
No, but when you get that vibe off of it, kind of thing.
Yeah, you get that little rush with the heat.
Yeah, there you go. There
All
you
right.
go. Yeah, thank you, Joe Stinger.
Yeah.
But anyway, since we're talking about the Phillies and we're talking about how red hot they
Were.
should be, could be, how's everybody feeling? I'm curious to check everybody's pulse on these Phillies now that they're they're starting to leak oil, to steal the phrase.
Well, hopefully by the end of the segment here that you're not going to be a red hot tamale with your face when we're all done.
That's why I need to be calmed down every once in a while. You know what I mean? I don't like what I'm seeing. I don't like.
It's definitely bad as far as what's going on, but it's part of a 162 game season. And you're going to have these moments. It stinks when you're going through it. We were all giddy. The first half of the season there, that first third of the season where when
where did they go since the All-Star break? I'll throw that question out there. Where have they gone since the All-Star break?
Where have they gone, Joe DiMaggio? They I don't know. I think it's just a couple guys lost their way. I think Harper's still a little bit injured. I think with that hamstring. Using his legs like that, I think it's throwing him off a little bit.
I've noticed. It's funny you mentioned that because he's supposed to be the leader, right? And
oh yeah,
Lauren and Anthony jump in anytime. You know what I mean? I don't want to. You got an opinion or something to share.
Well, Anthony's going to be the voice of reason.
Who is
Anthony?
Okay. Well, here's a for instance. The other night, after there was an out made in the inning, and the first baseman takes the ball and throws it back, I guess, to either the second baseman or the shortstop. He two-hopped it back to the second baseman. It was like, he either didn't want to be bothered or something was bothering him. He just, I don't know. He just don't look energized. He don't look right. He's got that stupid sleeve, on his bad arm. And he doesn't want to address the situation because he's been asked,
right.
And he dances around it. So, Anthony, what do you got? What's your opinion?
They're fine. They're in first place. They've been in first place all year long. They're probably tired like everybody else, so they're just not consistent. But Bryce Harper comes to life every time you get to the playoffs. So that's not the answer anyone wants because you want it to keep going like it was at the beginning. But after a while, you come out hot. You get a little tired after a while. And I think they'll be fine when they get there. They know that they have to win this year. Like they got to win. Like I said before, I feel like it's a disappointment if you don't win this year. You were in the World Series last year. You didn't make it to the World Series. You got to get back to the World Series and win because you're very much set up to win right now. These guys are very expensive. I think they know that, but they're also tired. So I bet you when people ask Bryce Harper those questions, he gets annoyed because he wants to say, "Hey, schmuck, you've seen me. When you see me when it's playoff time, you know I'm going to come alive." Now I get it.
I like the live version, Game 6 and 7 last year. I like that coming alive version last year. So I hope we get a better version of Bryce Harper.
Well, it's I don't know. I feel like my answers aren't like going to be. People aren't going to like the answers. They're going to say he gets paid a lot of money, this and that. Yeah,
it's not about your answer; it's your opinion and what You're a baseball guy, so
it's just when they get tired. It's hard to keep that going for all those games. It's almost impossible. So of course they start winning and people get excited. That's great, but a lot of teams have fallen off. It's just really, really hard to keep doing that. And I think they'll be fine. It's not like they're losing every day. They're just not winning consistently as much as you like. I think they're going to keep it going. And, if you finish the year, you're still any games ahead that you're in first place and it's not a wild card situation, you're good to go. So they're not going to let that, even though it's less than it was, they're not going to let that completely go away. And if it gets really close, I'm sure they're going to kick into high gear. But I don't know. If it's a situation where you get to the playoffs and God forbid they start playing like that immediately, after a game or so, you have a little bit of reason to be worried. But right now, in the month of August, I wouldn't be concerned.
All right. Well, I mean, hey, being a Phillies fan, I didn't mean to cut you off, John.
No, you're good.
I hope you're right. I hope it's just a matter of being tired. Because I tell you, I just see them. I mean, these are guys, these are young men that have played baseball their whole life. And, I certainly have not, none of us on this show have played baseball for 162 games. So I don't know how you classify being tired. He was off 2 days in a row and he just looked so like out of it last night. And like John said, he could very well be hurt. I guess the lineup came out late yesterday. Did the lineup come out late today, John?
It did. It did come out late again today. And
is that Topper's new advantage to doing things?
No, it's not. He had mentioned that there's a lot of guys beat up a little bit, and he was waiting for batting practice to see how guys responded. So he didn't mention anybody specifically, but that you can read into whatever you want. Who might be injured or what. Yeah, they're just a little bit banged up right at the moment. Like I said, it's part of the season. I mean, they're in third. If the season ended today, they're playing the wild card game because they're the third seed right now. If the season would have ended today, but fortunately for us, the season doesn't end till September 29th. There's a lot of baseball still to play. I think they'll be fine for the regular season. It's just when it comes to the playoffs, that's what we've been saying all year long. It's that I actually hope that they finish third, to be honest with you, just because I don't want that bye.
When I say the words tired, too, I don't mean like they want to go take a nap. I mean they're sore. Like people, it's a long. Sure. It's a long time. So the reason that like the lineup's coming out late because these hey dude, are you good to get? They're gonna keep saying guys. They're gonna say they're good every night because they want to play.
Right.
But it's his job to make sure that he's keeping an eye on that. And so when people, I love it. Any manager puts out a lineup that's not the normal starting guys. What the hell is Sosa in here for? Well, because the guy can't play every single day. Like that's why Sosa's in there sometimes. But I think overall they'll be okay. I mean. Some of the guys have trouble sometimes in the bullpen, but I mean, it's the same. Every team's got that. As long as it's not consistently the same thing that you see every single day for more than 2 or 3 games in a row, then,
Well, the first half of the season, I think we all know that the pitching carried them
right
through a lot of that. You had guys that were just pitching lights out. To steal another phrase, and you don't have that in the second half because you lost Granger. The rest of the league finally figured out a way to beat Christopher Sanchez. You lost Turnbull, you lost Taijuan Walker. So you lost a bunch of your starting pitching that you had in the first half. And you're kind of, you're just, taking on water in the second half. You're just not getting that, those guys to pitch 6-7 solid innings. Then they're on top of it, on any given night. I mean, I don't know how many strikeouts did they have last night?
13.
I mean, was it 13?
Yeah.
It's just, I guess it falls into the category of being tired, being beat up, being, done with the season, and, let's bring on, the postseason. I don't know. It's just wild to watch the first half compared to the second half so far. And you can see, just see so many different things going on, and you're hoping that, I guess, John, is Ranger due back next week? Are we still on pace for that?
He's supposedly going to pitch Saturday in Kansas City.
Okay.
Is what they're saying.
And Austin Hayes, the newly acquired outfielder from the Orioles, is up in the Lehigh Valley.
Yeah, I would think he'd be probably, in that same Kansas City series, maybe get tomorrow's game, maybe in Atlanta. I'm not sure.
Okay.
Depending
Well,
on
those are two pretty big pieces, because Hayes started to hit the ball a little bit,
right,
and played a decent left field, and then you can platoon Rojas and Marsh, and I guess Marsh is the other guy that we're talking about, because his bat's kind of disappeared also.
Yeah, he's out of the lineup again tonight. Him and Stott are both out of the lineup tonight.
Well, you're going matchups, right, with Max Fried.
Yeah, but you know what? The funny thing is, we always keep saying it's all analytically driven, and Max Fried actually has what they call reverse splits. He's actually gives up more hits to lefties than he does to righties, and tonight we're going against that.
So we got Rojas in center, and Sosa's playing.
Sosa, and then Weston Wilson's in left.
Okay.
So, yeah,
that's another piece of information there. With him, you run into a hot guy, and I always thought, the manager used to run the hot guy, until
right.
I mean, the kid hits for the cycle, and he's not in the lineup anymore.
Right.
I mean, that sort of stuff drives me crazy. I mean, you're a baseball guy. I mean, if the Pirates had a guy hit for the cycle, he'd be back in the lineup, right?
That'd be amazing if that happens. No, I know, because the same. It's funny because the same things that people get frustrated about with the Phillies are the same things that happen to a lot of other teams. A lot of guys trying to hit home runs. People get mad at their manager. Now they blew their playoff chances. But yeah, I mean, like no, he does stuff like that all the time. Someone has a really big game, and then they take them out. I think that's more of a league issue now, because I think I don't know if it's computers telling you to do it or someone else is whatever it is. It happens quite more often than just the Phillies. Watching other teams. Does that make it right? No, you think you would keep playing the same guy until they wear out a little bit. Right. And it's also, from their perspective, it makes them hard to keep it going. If you're playing one day, then you play 4 days later, then you play. It's very hard to anyone to. That's not natural. You got to keep playing. So yeah, I don't agree. Yeah, I don't agree with taking them out.
You bring up an interesting point, because here's another problem that I had. From Sunday's game, you got JT on the bench, you got Harper on the bench, you got a runner on base, and you let, do I have his name right, John? Cal Stevenson, come to the plate, and I don't know who the other out was.
Garrett Stubbs.
There you go. Two quality major league players that I'm sure, they're a lot better at baseball than I am, but you got two superstars sitting on the bench, one at bat. I don't understand that analogy at all.
Well, I mean, you summed it up. I mean, that sounds like, without knowing who that Cal Stevenson is, sounds like two pretty much automatic outs. That's not very, that's not great. But you would think they know more than we do. I don't know, but I don't really have an answer for that one.
Yeah, I mean, I just, I get I'm not even going to use the word upset anymore. I get angry over, some of these decisions because I don't understand them, I guess. When you're trying to win baseball games, and these automatic outs that turn into losses, they're going to come back to haunt you the last week of the season. I'm just afraid of that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean it's a lot of looking long term, as Rob Thompson says during his press conference a lot. And
am I the only one that gets tired of hearing that?
Oh no, it is. I mean, because you need to play to win that game, and then you live to play tomorrow, and then play tomorrow's game, however that would work out. Again, not having Bryce Harper come up and pinch hit for Cal Stevenson on Sunday doesn't mean you're going to win the game.
But it's a better at bat, right?
Exactly. You're getting a better at bat. Your team at least is look. Hey, we're going for it. We're going to win, and because they had Kyle Finnegan on the mound for Washington on that game, and he's blown up a lot this year against the Phillies in a few save opportunities. So up until Sunday, I don't think he had an out in Citizens Bank Park. This year recorded because they walked them off the other time that they had them in there and did the same thing in Washington. It's just a matter of being able to you won 3 out of 4, so you would think you're happy, but you had a game there that was within hand. Whether or not you win or not, you at least go for it. To be able to have that opportunity to bring JT up for Stubbs. It's a you're pinch hitting the lefty for a righty against a right-handed pitcher, but it's still a better option with JT coming up there.
Well, Sean's jumped on, or he's been on maybe, and he just made his first comment that Topper did his team a disservice on Sunday, and I don't think it's just Sunday. I think there's been other games that the moves were there to make, and he didn't make them in the favor of his team. Sometimes the joke of the day is the lineup.
Right.
You're putting all your pressure on the first 5 guys at the top, and the bottom 4 guys are just they're career utility guys, they're bench guys, they're back and forth between AAA and AA, and it just, I don't know. I'm losing faith in him as a manager as he tries to, I don't know, keep his guys happy and keep everybody on board with everything. But at the end of the day, you got to win games.
But it was a nothing game. It didn't mean anything.
Well,
why he told you why he didn't put those guys in, because he wanted them to get full days off.
Yep.
That's why he didn't put them in. You had already won the series. So it's a nothing game. It means nothing. Leave those guys in there and give them experience in situations like that. So that if God forbid one of those guys goes down and they have to step up, and it has to be Cal Stevenson or Garrett Stubbs, they've been in those situations before. Why waste your guys on a nothing game? If you win every series for the rest of the season, you win the World Series.
Well, I got my fingers crossed on that one.
But we're nitpicking a Sunday game that meant nothing. And we nitpick these decisions. Well, there's a reason we're sitting here and he's sitting in the Phillies dugout.
100%.
And 100%. I know it's our job to nitpick things, but it's 162 games. I mean, week after week after week, we find these things to nitpick. And Anthony giggles at us because he wishes he could nitpick a Sunday game that the Pirates lost the one game and won the series. They go on 12, 13, 14 game losing streaks. If we lose 2 games in a row, we're jumping off the wall, Whitman. Relax. Let them play out the rest of the season. Let them get the losing out of their system now, so when the playoffs come around, they're in fine shape. let him do whatever he wants to the lineup.
Well,
if Sosa's in tonight and Stott's out and what, okay. I trust the manager to make these decisions. And if you don't, then I don't know what to tell you. You're going to second guess everything he does.
Well, the problem is, like, if Cal Stevenson got a big home run, people would love Cal Stevenson. He's a great move. What a smart move that was to do that. And if you bring Bryce Harper in, and God forbid he got hurt, what are you doing, you idiot? That's a nonsense game. You shouldn't have been in the first place.
So you lose either way.
He knows what he's doing. You have to play those guys a little bit because in case they have to get out. But
right.
It's a very difficult balance because the season's so darn long.
The funny thing is, the thing we bitched about the most with the Sixers was that Doc Rivers never used his bench. Rob Thompson uses his bench, and we bitch.
Well, I mean, the season's twice as long for baseball. I don't think we're comparing apples to apples.
And I'm not trying to compare apples to apples. I'm just saying these guys coming off the bench need a chance to play too. Because if one of those guys goes down, when JT went down and Garrett Stubbs had to be the guy, if that happens in October in the postseason, Garrett Stubbs needs as much experience as he can get. And Sunday was a nothing game. So who cares?
Well, if it comes into playoffs, it's going to be that Rafael Marchand that's going to be the guy taking all the at bats during the postseason because they're not going to have subs out.
You think he'll be the extra man that's added, John?
Well, once the Iron Pigs are done, but
don't they add an extra man for the playoffs?
They do. Yeah, so I would think you would probably have to
unless you add an extra arm or whatever.
Yeah, well, there might be two for the playoffs. Yeah, you would probably do one and one, but the thing is though, every game is a game. You know, I mean, and you're going to lose games, but it wasn't a nothing game. You know, just in the grand scheme of things, when you're coming down to playoff seedings, because now, the Dodgers and the Brewers are ahead of you now, because we lost that game and we lost last night, so those two games now we're in third place instead of first or second place. So in grand scheme, as far as winning the National League East, it's not a big deal because you're going to win. You're 95% going to, if not 100% going to win the NL East, but that first and second place, it does matter, overall. So,
but that Sunday game isn't what changed the tides. All the games before that were the problem. We're not talking about the 3 games prior to that when they shellacked the Nationals that one game. It was like 11-2, 16-2, whatever it was. We're not even talking about that. We tend to just gravitate towards the one game that they lost and what they could have done better. Well, how about all the good stuff that they did do? Why does that always go without mention? Why don't we talk about Trey Turner and the walk-off home run, or when he gets a double, or when Kyle Schwarber hits a grand slam? We haven't even talked about that. But instead, we're worried about Bryce Harper sitting on the bench on Sunday in a game that they already won the series. But yet here we are not even talking about what the Kyle Schwarber grand slam swing that hopefully turned the season around for this team.
Well, I mean,
why as Philadelphia fans do we always gravitate to the bad?
I don't know necessarily that's you're summing up Philly fans. It's a product.
You listen to sports radio, they call in to bitch. They don't call in to say how great the team is.
Well, John will tell you that's why I don't listen to sports radio, because I don't want to listen. I don't want to listen to them call in and bitch, moan, and complain. Because there's no dollar dog night anymore. You know what I mean?
And that's only a small percent of the fans that are calling in that's doing that. I mean, it's not.
I'm looking at X's and O's. I'm looking at wins and losses. I'm looking at the big picture. You know what I mean? I was just upset that you had a game that you could have possibly won, that you could have possibly needed at the end of the season. Hey, like John said, we may not need that game, but you keep losing these so-called little games that don't matter. Well, they're going to eventually matter, because your 10-game lead in the division that you were running away with is now down to 6.
6, yeah.
Right? And I mean, I hate to say it, but you can't afford a loss tonight or tomorrow to Atlanta because that just comes off the bottom line. And if you think fans are hot and heated right now, don't lose this series to Atlanta.
Or what?
It's going to be catastrophic because you can't continue to lose these games. If these guys are hurt, then don't put them in the lineup. But
if they don't put them in the lineup, then you get mad.
Well, not if we know that they're hurt.
Right, but they don't also want to tell you that because then that's an advantage to the other team. Bryce Harper doesn't want anybody to know that he's hurt. So he doesn't play on Sunday, and then we're mad he doesn't pitch hit for Cal Stevenson. He played last night, right? And they still lost.
Yeah, he looked horrible, too.
So, I mean, I just also think just relax. It's not going to be catastrophic if they lose this series. Yes, I understand the first half of the season, to be honest with you, we were spoiled. It was almost too good to be true. They almost overplayed. They gave us something that we didn't expect. And now the second half of the season, they're playing like pretty much a normal baseball team where they have wins and losses and they go on these little streaks, hot streaks, slow streaks, all that kind of stuff. And then they come out of it. It won't be catastrophic if they lose the series. Of course, I don't want them to lose the series, but they also won the series against the Nationals. We're still complaining, and they can still win the next 2 games against the Braves and have won the series.
All right, now.
Yeah, well, I mean, again, it's not.
So I got a wagon to get on because Sean invited me onto his wagon, regardless. So I'm all good.
Yeah, let's get on the wagon and let's be as positive as possible.
I am till about the 8th or 9th inning.
Oh, well, no, I mean it's not that we're being negative to the team. It's like it's just pointing out some points. That's all. I mean, yeah, like you said,
point out the good stuff. I mean, it's like damned if you do, damned if you don't. They play really well. We don't mention any of that. We just mention
that's not true. That's not true. We do
because we were praising them the whole first third of the season when they were going.
They need it most. Remember when Trey Turner sucked and everybody gave him a standing ovation and he turned it around? This is
so you guys are going to give me a standing out so I can.
But I'm saying this is when they need to be. This is when they need the positivity. They didn't need it the first half of the season.
Did you hear the fans booing that team over the weekend? Or not necessarily the weekend, but it was a series before the Nationals.
The Marlins.
That was ugly.
I just think everybody needs to calm down. This isn't worst case scenario. We aren't in like a dire situation here. It's a long season. They're tired. They're beat up. Relax.
All right.
Well, the only thing I would say is how would you feel at the end of the season we're in third place instead of first or second?
We're still in the playoffs, right? Right? Get in. That's all we preach all the time. Dad, I've heard you say it a million times. Just get in. That's all I care about. Just get in. So if they just get in, that's all we care about, right? Because anything can happen. So it doesn't matter. First or third. John, you said you don't even want them to have a bye. So you want them to be first.
No, and I'm not being negative with it. I'm just giving both sides of the story here.
Third, eighth, I don't care. In the playoffs, that's all that matters. Just make the playoffs.
I
want them to be first. I want them to be the greatest team ever. I want them to have the best record. I want them to be the greatest. But it's okay. They don't have to be the best all the time. If they make the playoffs, that should be all that matters. Just get in. That's what we preach all the time. That's what we say about the Sixers. That's damn sure what we say about the Flyers. Just get in and see what happens. Right?
It's been a while for the Flyers, so stop with that nonsense.
I'm just saying, that's all we preach is just get in.
All right, just get in. That's our new slogan. Just get in.
Just get in. We're okay with being mediocre.
No, if you get in, you're not mediocre.
Well, with the expanded roster, when you got 6-7 teams in there,
What seed were we when we went into the 08 World Series?
They weren't.
What's that?
What seed were we when we went into the 08 World Series?
Wild card.
I rest my case. Just get in.
Well, there's a lot of comparison from the 80 team, the 08 team, and the 24 team. So I guess, we can sum it up by saying, we're spoiled by the first half. But I think the team, and correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm certainly, this is my opinion and solely my opinion. I think the team owed it to themselves coming off of last year being, humiliated by the Diamondbacks at home. And I think they owed it to themselves to come out, play with their unis on fire. You know what I mean? And they did the first half. They had great pitching. They were playing decent ball. They were hitting some home runs. They were the manager couldn't make a bad move. So we had nothing to bitch about. Agree?
Sure.
And then ever since this All-Star break, what did we send? 7 guys to the All-Star game. It's kind of like, we had a team full of swollen heads. We got 7 guys in the All-Star team. Okay, great. Now we're finding ourselves limping along. Guys got tired arms. They're beat up. I get it. They all play 162 games. So we just got to be patient. We got to calm it down. Did the Union playoffs start? Shawnee, he's our resident comedian on the board tonight.
Yeah,
so, funny guy.
Playing Columbus tonight in the semifinals.
Yeah. So, but no, I get it. I understand. I understand. I just get frustrated. I get frustrated with watching Alvarado. How many did he walk last night? 4 in a row?
4. Well, four batters. He got 2 outs.
Yeah, that was a long shuffle for him. We may not see him for a few nights. Hopefully, we don't see him for a few nights.
Well, probably not tonight because after he threw like 36 pitches last night. So
yeah, well, tonight he would have definitely been off, right?
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, we can certainly, come back to the Phillies and grab some more Phillies talk if time permits. But I know Johnny's chafing at the bit to talk about some EAGLESs and camp. Last day at camp today, and
yeah, cut it short.
We're ready for football. A very unusual preseason Saturday game, Saturday afternoon,
1:00. Yeah,
1:00 at the link. This is like almost like a regular season game without the starters.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. That they're, Saturday at 1:00 is just a weird time. I don't get it. Usually it's a night game. For whatever reason they're doing it at 1:00.
Who sets that schedule, John? Is that the team, the league? Who sets those schedules?
Yeah, I don't know who's doing that. I mean, it must be the league, I would think, just
right
with TV schedules going on. But and maybe they gave them the Eagles the earlier game because they're 16 days away from Brazil.
Right, and all the travel and everything.
Yeah, maybe. But yeah, it's that was a strange one. That's a head scratcher.
Is there a travel schedule out yet for Brazil, John? Do we know when the team's leaving?
I don't. No, I don't know if they have like kind of like they did in London had a little festival type of thing going on. I would assume they'd have something going on that they'd be doing some things, but yeah, that's gonna be interesting.
Did
see
our guy from Passyunk Ave get his pop-up dive bar set up in Brazil?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if he did or not. Yeah, JP, I'll have to message JP and see.
I sure hope so, man. What an opportunity.
Yeah,
What an opportunity that would be.
true. But yeah, it's I was surprised that they cut it short today. You know, they had a long practice today. They said, you know, with some hitting going on. It was a 2-hour practice, which was, you know, definitely much longer than they usually do.
Your boy threw his first pick of the camp. Did you see
he
that?
Did. After 305 passes, he threw a pick. Darius Slay, and he there was a lot of joking going on back and forth there, you know, afterwards, and
right.
I actually kind of liked it. You could tell Jalen was pissed, you know, talking about it because he walked away, but I actually liked the response, you know, from him about it, you know, saying, you know, he told him it's about time that you got me. The only thing I was worried about it was a slant going in the middle of the field, and he finally throws a pass in the middle of the field and he gets picked. So
who was it to?
To Darius Slay.
No. That's who had the pick. Who was the ball intended for?
I'm not sure because it was hard to see if it was AJ Brown or Devontae Smith. You know, going.
Well, they don't run Devontae over the middle that very much. So
yeah,
unless things changed. But now, hey,
yeah,
brought him back down to earth.
Yeah, so that's the only thing you got to worry about. You know, throwing the ball across the middle. It doesn't seem to be Jalen's thing right at the moment, but hopefully we'll see more of it this year, and he proves us to be wrong about that because we need that going across the middle.
Well, it sounds like they've got a lot of decisions to make. They got some quality players that might hit the unemployment line.
Yeah, I mean it's a good thing. You know, there's a lot of good players that we can hopefully maybe trade, get a pick or you know something picks because obviously everybody knows you're going to be cutting players. If not, so you know maybe Howie can work some magic and maybe get a draft pick for somebody here or there who may want to make sure he doesn't have to go through waivers or have everybody open as a free agent, you know, going after him. So,
all right. So I'm going to throw this out there because this is a name that's been brought up a lot in Philadelphia. But one Carson Wentz is now the backup to Pat Mahomes in Kansas City.
Yeah,
he threw a touchdown the other day, and now he's ready to be somebody's number one quarterback. So, yeah, Carson strong.
Oh yeah.
Did you see the member of the clean team with the Carson Wentz jersey on Friday night?
No, that's funny though. I did not see that.
It wasn't working. I forget. He's got like little curly black hair. You know,
I think his name's Rodney.
He's normally on that first base side.
I think
like
I just found that pretty funny. But anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Wentz is in Kansas City as Mahomes' backup. I hope they have a backup plan.
Right. Yep.
Knowing Andy, I'm sure he does. So, so we got a couple things that I just wanted to mention because we're back out on the road next week. We're at Buffalo Wild Wings next Wednesday night with another friend of the Philly Fanatic, Dave Raymond, who has a connection to Delaware football. His father, Tubby, was the coach at Delaware for many years. So I'm sure there'll be some interesting conversation and maybe some good banter back and forth there, with Dave. And I guess you all heard the conversation about him and Ed Wade starting as interns with the Phillies together.
Yep.
Way back way back then. So should be a fun night. But I just wanted to mention to everybody that Buffalo Wild Wings is going to be closing down on the 29th for a total remodel and reopening for the Eagles Packers game in Brazil. So I think, they've been talking about this remodel for a while now, and it's finally happening. And, they're pretty excited to be able to get it done, and fingers crossed, that they get it done in time, because it's going to be a packed house for the Eagles Packers.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm trying to figure out a plan. Joe and I have talked about a couple of different things. We might do a jersey promotion, where they can sell raffles. I know they do a lot with the local Boys and Girls Club locally. So I'll be there. You know what I mean? Hopefully we can make it a first win of the season, and it'll be good for everybody. But I'm looking forward to that. So anybody, we'll have some more information next week to announce once I know more. But looking forward to that. So that'll be a lot of fun. So
yep.
That's our plans for next week, and then moving forward, we're back at Buffalo. What's that date? September 25th, I believe. So hopefully we get into the football mode, and maybe have some former players out there. So
yeah.
With all that being said about the Eagles, the Sixers are they're heading to Bermuda for I guess a get together and to introduce everybody and get everybody. Hey, my name's Paul George.
Yeah.
They just signed probably one of France's best players. I thought that was an interesting move. Have you guys been following that? I mean, that kid's a player.
Yeah.
So they're slowly filling out this team, and I'm getting excited for 76ers. Lauren, you've been following them a little bit?
Yeah, I heard about the Bermuda thing. I think that's great. Get the guys out of the spotlight and the media here and get them somewhere where they can actually acclimate to one another and just be able to, none of that pressure, none of the craziness that goes on with that, and just start to mesh as a team. So I'm all for it. I think that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were talking, it was for practice that they're going there for. I don't know where they would be doing it at, because if we were there probably a couple of years ago, and I don't know where the basketball arena would be that they would play.
Oh, I'm sure there's a local YMCA or a gym or something somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, it's a strange area there, because you go over the bridge onto the island, and it's it's two different worlds, over there. So yeah, I'd be curious to see where they're practicing at.
Well, I'm sure we'll know before too long.
Right. Oh yeah. And then I guess in Atlantis they could make a arena somewhere.
They might build a court outside. Who knows?
Right. Exactly. That's what I mean. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
But I thought that was interesting. You know what I mean? Taking the team to Bermuda, especially a team that's got so many new players, and hey, there's your guy James Cully.
There he is.
Indiana.
He's in Indiana, apparently. Wow.
Yeah, how about Gandalville, Indiana? What's out there?
Maybe he'll tell us.
That's where he went when the Fightins are out of town, huh?
I guess.
Speaking of out of town, you guys are on the road this weekend as well. You're heading back out to Pittsburgh for their Wall of Fame ceremonies. You guys want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, so we leave Saturday morning to head back to Pittsburgh. Their Hall of Fame game is Saturday night.
They have 3 guys this year: Manny Sanguian, Jim Leland, and Barry Bonds that are going into their Hall of Fame. So I'm sure they always do a really good job of that presentation on the field. And I'm sure it's going to sell some tickets at a time where they could probably use a couple tickets sold, I imagine, after losing all those games in a row. So it's always a fun time. The weather is looking to be nice, a little cooler than it was last time we went. So it should be a good time.
Very cool. Very cool.
When you're out there, what's your favorite spots to hit? It's like almost
that's a hard question for me because there's a lot.
We're creatures of habit, so we tend to go back to the same places because we know that they're good and we like them. So it's rare that we sort of venture out. But we found this new spot a couple months ago when we were there called City Winery, which is actually a chain. They have different locations in different cities, but it was our first time there. And they have a ton of live acts. Sometimes it's music, plays, just all different kinds of things. Almost every day they have something on the schedule. So that's pretty cool. And they have a nice selection of wine, which I appreciate. So that's a good spot, but you like Maggie's Farm?
There's this place called Maggie's Farm Run, which is sort of like a hidden sort of drinking place. You really wouldn't even know it's there if someone didn't tell you. And there's a Italian place we go to, which is good. But
it's like in the guy's basement.
Yeah, it's like in a basement sort of place. But it's nice. I mean, not normally like the traditional touristy type stuff, but we kind of got a few spots we hit every year.
Good. Nice. Good. Well, have fun.
Yeah.
Go Pirates, go Bucks.
Yep.
I'm curious to see the ovation that they give Barry Bonds because
they were talking about that lately, and some of the people have been getting fired up because he was booed for the longest time, and that could have been multiple reasons. One, that he left the team on sort of a sour note. The other one, that he didn't throw someone out of home, and then obviously the steroid stuff doesn't help once he's not there. But I mean, he had a couple bad playoff games, but overall for the team, I mean, he did a really good job. They just kind of remember one bad incident, and then he sort of left town. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens. I imagine it'll be very much cheering over the boos. I mean, the guy's going into the Hall of Fame. If you're actually at that game and you're booing, I mean, what the hell's the point of that?
Exactly. Why go?
Right. So I imagine
right. Well. And you're a Bonds fan, right?
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
You couldn't throw out Sid Green.
Yeah. No. Yeah. It's a while ago now, though. So at this point,
we're still talking about it today on that.
Well, because that's all you have to go by.
Fan station.
You kind of feel bad for the guy at this point. I mean, it's not his fault they lost for the last 30 years. He made one play that they missed at home, but that doesn't mean that he's the reason that they lost for 30 years. I mean, that's their fault at some point.
Yeah, he was only the only player for many of those years.
Yeah, I mean, they had a couple guys, but
well, isn't Jim Leland one of his famous clips screaming in the face of Barry Bonds?
Yeah, it's spring training.
Cigarette hanging out of his mouth.
Yeah, just yelling at him, telling him he needs to play harder, and
I'm sure they've moved past that since then, but they'll be back.
Get the F out of here if you're not going to play hard.
Yeah.
All right. Let's. We got a couple of segments to hit. Lauren's layups, John's rants. I don't want to lose sight of any of that because we put a lot of hard-earned work into that. So,
Johnny, take it away.
All righty.
Johnny wasn't prepared. Caught him off guard.
No, I was getting ready to do. My battery shut off for the time or for my remote.
Oh,
I didn't get my thing here.
Grab your popcorn, everybody.
Oh yeah. So, I don't understand how the Eagles could have 9 for the first 9 games, they only play 3 home games in those first 9 games. That's a brutal stretch for the Eagles at Lincoln Financial Field. That's one that's going to hopefully we can survive. That opening stretch. To get through that 9 games, because afterwards, you're going to end up, hopefully benefiting from that home schedule. The last 6 weeks of the season, you have only 2 train rides down to Baltimore and down to Washington. So that'll be good on the back end. But a team that ended the season the way they did last year, to have all those games on the road, and one of the home games that we have is in Brazil. Could end up having a slow start for the Eagles. So hopefully that doesn't happen. I don't know who scheduled that for us, but that's a little bit of a worry spot for us, for me anyway. Getting off to that good start, because that's what we need. To get off to a good start, and to get rid of the vibes from last year of finishing up, what was it, 1-6.
All right.
Type of thing. So,
hey, here's my 2 cents, Johnny. Your rants aren't what they used to be.
Oh, why?
You don't have that. That.
Well, there wasn't a whole lot. A lot goods going on in Philly right now.
You usually bring in a whole lot more juice than that.
Yeah, but there wasn't a whole lot to go on right in the moment. So it's kind of
9 games. I mean, that's a lot of away stuff.
Right. I mean, and you're playing some tough teams too. So it's not, because
I don't know. Come on, that's that's still a 12-13 team, 13-win season. No.
Oh,
I don't like the Brazil game at all.
Right. I mean, you got the Brazil game, then you come home Monday night to play the Falcons, who've just improved themselves a lot. And then you go to the Saints, to the Buccaneers. Then you got the Giants game at home or away. But then you go to Cincinnati as well. That's a tough game.
That might be your first. That might be your first loss.
So then why are we going there?
I don't know. There's some hiccups right there. You got Tampa Bay. You're going back out to in there in week 4. We've had some rough stretches there. It's get through that stretch, and we're looking a little bit better.
All right,
back end, it's a little bit nicer. For
all right, starting out on a bad note already. I see.
Well, I mean, it's just that's how things are good. Good things are going around Philadelphia, so that we have to worry about that.
All right. Last but not least, to close out the show, Lauren's layups.
What sporting event do you wish you could have attended in person but didn't?
Ooh.
And it can be before you were born. It doesn't have to just be while you've been alive. It can be any sporting event that you wish you could have attended in person but didn't. I'll let Tony go first because I feel like I know his answer without him being.
What do you think's the answer?
The 1979 World Series, or any of the World Series for that matter. Would you pick one? Would you have picked one when Clemente was alive?
No, I would have picked. Do I know what to happen after?
Yeah, you know what happened after.
And I would have picked the last game of the World Series that year.
In what?
In 1979.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. That's easy.
John, Dad, anything? A sporting
I guess for me, because I had the opportunity for the Super Bowl that they didn't win in Jacksonville. I had the golden opportunity for that, and passed because I spent the money on a monstrous big screen TV.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like I didn't have the funds to do it, but I guess the game of games would have been the 1980 World Series that they clinched with Tug, jumping. that would have been cool. That would have been cool.
Okay.
Because that one, I mean, you see so many clips of, Tug, and every time it's his birthday or every time his son, plays a concert, he now wears his jersey, and that 1980 team, I mean, we saw it again this weekend, is just so beloved. It's just, one of those teams.
Okay. Johnny?
I will go with the Eagles when they won the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
In Minnesota there.
In Minnesota, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was,
that was. Yeah, because of baseball, I've been to a lot of them. I wasn't at the '80 World Series. That would have been a good one as well. But a lot of the other World Series games I was at for Philadelphia. But yeah, I think the Eagles Super Bowl would probably be.
Joe Stinger brings up a good one with the Wilt Chamberlain and the 100 points in Hershey, Pennsylvania. Brings up another one, the first Flyers Stanley Cup in 1974. Lauren, how about you?
I think I got to go with the Eagles Super Bowl as well. Yeah, going in there as the underdog with, nothing left to lose but everything to gain, and coming away with a win, even when it got a little hairy there in the third quarter, and just
Philly.
When that green, white, and black confetti fell and they won, I mean, that had to be incredible.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
50 some years? What was it?
One in 1960, right?
Yeah.
So that would have been 57 years.
Yeah. So, yeah. I mean, they're all good. They're all good. They all mean
a lot of stuff that I also thought about, going and seeing the Olympics in person. I mean, I don't know that I'll ever get that chance, but I mean, that seems super cool to be able to go.
You visited Lake Placid. You've been up there for,
We were there, and we were in Atlanta where they had the games in Atlanta as well. But just to be there for, especially one of the real competitive ones.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's got to be cool. Or even a good bowl game back when college football meant something, and they had good bowl games. I thought about those as well. Not just necessarily Philly sports, but something like that, or just a good like when the Phillies played the Little League World Series last year. That had to be so cool to be at. Just stuff like that. So it doesn't necessarily have to be a championship game, so to speak, but just a cool sporting event that you weren't able to be at in person.
Or Game 7 this year. I'll set the tone. Game 7 of the World Series, Phillies-Orioles.
And Cal Stevenson hits the game-winning home run.
At the bank. And Cal Stevenson walks to the plate with a stack of bats like the Babe. Which one you want me to use?
Against Sir Anthony Dominguez, too.
Right?
or Craig Kimbrell. You take your choice.
Because that SOB's now their closer, damn it.
Yep, because Kimbrell keeps messing it up.
Oh, God. I thought we were going to end on a positive note.
We just did, because the Phillies just won the World Series.
All right, good.
Yeah, it was funny.
Good.
We had to get the positive thoughts for Lauren about talking about the Phillies.
Sean, with Harper on the bench.
That's right. That's right. Rob Thompson doesn't put him in. He gives him the day off once he makes he's,
7, I don't need you.
Right.
Hey, you two have a great weekend in Pittsburgh. Johnny, you have a great weekend in Penn State.
Yeah.
I'll hold the fort down, damn it.
Well,
there you go.
Bruce.
I got this.
Yeah, well, you got stuff going on Friday you didn't even mention about.
Yeah, I'm going to Bruce. How many times we seen him?
This will be my second.
We've seen him a few times.
Fingers crossed it was better than the first.
Yeah, let's play some people heard of him.
Glory days, baby. Glory days. That's what we're talking about.
That's Encore 1. How about kick off with that?
Yeah, but that'll be the background noise when the Phillies are winning the World Series. Glory days.
I'll get that set. I'll get that set list tonight from Dave
Kilgore.
Dave Denenberg.
Oh, Denenberg's.
Yeah,
He's on there.
yeah, he's the Bruce Springsteen guy. So,
guys,
have a great rest of Wednesday night, Thursday, Friday. We'll rock out down at where's that game at, or where's that concert at?
Bank.
Yep. Yeah, Mom just put the light on. I was perfectly fine without it, but
there you go.
Yep, she makes her grand appearance, so she can talk to you guys afterwards. So anyway, thanks everybody for signing on, and hope it was as fun as it was for us. And if you're not doing anything the next Wednesday night, come hang out with us. I'll buy you a beer at Buffalo Wild Wings in Glen Mills.
There you go.
All right.
Sounds good.
See you guys.
See ya.